Assalamualaikum. The introduction in financial analysis of project is based on uncertainty such as change in the world economic situation and involves estimating cost and benefit based on expectation and possibilities. This analysis is used when designing project of component, assuming each alternative will produce the same output and contributed to some objective. Financial management focus on efficient and effective management of money such as retention, equity and debt. The main aim of this report is to prepare for analyzing the business nature of two companies and ratio analysis for both firms. Monetary management involves planning, directing, organizing, and controlling a company resources to ensure regular fund supply, investment, safety, and cost-effective use. Petron, a Philippine oil company, was formed in 1933 by Scotty Vacuum Oil Company and Standard Oil of New Jersey. In the 1960, the company split its marketing and refining interests between Mobile and Esso, with the Philippine branch known as Esso Philippines. In 1953, the Philippine government launched Phil Oil, the first Philippine oil company to cater to Filipino customers. In 1973, Esso sold the business to the government, which became the Philippine National Oil Company (PNOC). Petrophil later renamed Petron in 1988 was performed from PNOC partnership with Saudi Aramco. Petron operates a refinery in Limay, Bataan with a ring capacity of 108,000 barrels per day. Petronas, a Malaysia oil and gas company, was founded in 1974 and is owned by the Malaysian government. It has grown into an influential company with the business interests in 31 countries and 100 self-owned subsidiaries. As of March 2005, the Petronas Group held 57 associated companies, making it one of the most influential state-owned oil and gas companies outside the OECD. The company focused on various petroleum activities including upstream, exploration, production, refining, marketing and trading, and real estate investment.
Today I will explain about horizontal ratio analysis for Petron Malaysia retailing and marketing perhaps in 2021, 2022, 2023. The first is current ratio. In 2021, Petron had ability to cover its current liability with its current asset was 0.95 times. In 2022, the ratio decreased to 1.02 times, while in the 23 the ratio decreased to 1.28 times. It showed 23 was more able to cover current liability with its current asset due to the higher ratio among 3 years. The second is quick ratio. Petron had the lowest quick ratio 21, which is 0.5 times, and for the year 23 they got 0.64 times, and 23 they got highest ratio among 3 years is 0.76 times. Net working capital in 21, the lowest net working capital of Petron is 55,890. In 22, the net working capital was 259,354, and 23 is 560,049. For inventory turnover, the Petron inventory turnover in 23 was 50.87 times. The ratio achieved the highest in 22, which is 60.34 times, as well as decreased slowly to 9.67 times in the year 21. As compared to the 3 years, the company has highest effective of inventory to get sales on 22 because it's achieved the highest ratio in that year. For the average collection periods, the average collection periods of Petron in 22 was 37 days, while 2022 is 26 days, and in 2023, the period average collection of Petron is 28 days. For the fixed asset turnover, the Petron fixed asset turnover in 21 was 6.04 times. The ratio increased slightly in 22, which is 12.38 times, and decreased 11.93 times in 2023. For the total asset turnover, the Petron total asset turnover 2.14 times in 21 and increased on 22, which is 3.85 times, and ratio was decreased in 23, which is 3.67 times. As compared to 3, the company had effective of total asset turnover to generate sales was 2022 because it achieved the higher ratio than years. For net profit margin in 21, the net profit margin of Petron was higher, which is 2.60% in 2022. In the net profit margin is decreased to 1.64%, and 23 the ratio dropped, which is 1.58%. The company had more change to make more efficiency of converting sales into the actual profit. The return on asset in 22, the return on asset showed the ratio highest, which is 6.31%. In 21, the ratio decreased to 5.55%, while in 23 it is dropped again to 5.79%. Is return on equity. The return on equity of Petron was decreased from 21 until 23, which is in 23 is 11.24% and decreased to 12.11%, which is the highest data in 21, and 22 is the lowest return equity, which is 5.36%. The company had highest return to shareholder in 21 because it achieved the highest ratio among 3 years. That's all.
Today I will talk about the horizontal analysis Petronas. The first one is current ratio. Current ratio it showed that 2022 was more able to cover its current liabilities with its current asset due to the highest ratio among 3 years. For the second point is quick ratio. Quick ratio Petronas got a lowest quick ratio in 2023 which is 0.81 time, and for years 2021 they got 3.60 times, and in 2022 got 4.42 times. For the networking capital in 2020, the lowest networking capital of Petronas. In 2022, the networking capital was encouraged, and for 2023 is got highest networking capital. For the inventory turnover, as compared to 3 years, the company had high turn effectiveness of inventory to generate sale on 2023 because it achieved the highest ratio in that year. For the average collection period, the average collection period of Petronas in 2021 was 21 days, while 2022 is 92 days. And in 2023, the period of average collection of Petronas is 80 days. For the next point is fixed asset turnover. As compared to 3 years, the company had highest effectiveness of fixed asset to generate sale was 2023 because it achieved the highest ratio in the years. For the total asset turnover, the Petronas total asset turnover in 2021 was 0.39 times. The ratio increased softly in 2022, which is 0.31 times, and decreased 0.33 times in years 2023. For the debit ratio, among 3 years, the company had lower amount of debit on capital structure in 2022 because that years achieved the lowest ratio of debt to financial asset. For the debt to equity, the debt to equity was encouraged from 2021 until 2023, which is 2022 they got the lowest debt to equity ratio, which is 26.30%. In 2021, the ratio was 44.63%, and in 2023, which is 44.63%. For the gross profit margin, the Petronas gross profit margin in 2021 was achieved the highest, which was 48.15%. The gross profit margin of Petronas in 2022 was the lowest, which is 33.65%, and 35.4% in 2023. For the account receivable, as compared 3 years, the company had high advantage of account receivable to generate sale was on 2021 because it achieved the higher ratio in that years. For the net profit margin, 2021 net profit margin the lowest, which is 22.88%, and the company have more chance to make more efficient at converting sale into actual profit. For the return on asset, the lowest of return on equity was 0.82%. The company had to shareholders in 2022 because it achieved the highest ratio among years. For the last point is about return on equity. 2023 shows the highest rate of return compared to the 3 years.
This is arithmetic ratio for years 2021. Okay, for current ratio, Petronas received a higher ratio of 3.64 times, reflecting its ability to pay short-term obligations. Functionally, is better than relying on Petron. Then quick ratio. Petronas' ability has been demonstrated by achieving a ratio of 3.06 times to pay its short-term inventory obligation when compared to Petron is 0.55 times. Next, the ratio for Petronas is higher with an absolute value of RM 3,422 and 326 ringgit. Compare liquidity to Petron RM negative 55,819. Next, inventory turnover. Petronas ratio is 63.74 times, which indicates that inventory is more effective in generating sales compared to Petron's 9.67 times. Average collection period. Petron's ratio of 37 days was higher than Petronas 21 days, which shows the effectiveness of daily sales. Next, fixed asset turnover. Petron's ratio was higher in comparison to Petronas, which is 0.42 times more effective in generating revenue, 6.03 times presents the efficiency of overall assets. 7. Total assets turnover. Petron achieved a higher ratio of 2.14 times, reflecting the effectiveness of total asset in generating sales compared to Petronas, which has a ratio of 0.39 times. Debt ratio. Petron received a higher ratio of 54.17% as it reflects its higher level of debt for financing asset compared to Petronas. Debt to equity. The Petron company's total debt to equity is higher at 118.20%, although the shareholder stake in Petronas is lower at 44.63%. Next, gross profit margin. Petronas got a higher ratio of 48.15%, which indicates a higher contribution margin compared to Petron. Next, account receivable turnover. Petronas was more effective than Petron, which had a ratio of 10.25 times due to its higher ratio of 31.96 times. Next, net profit margin. So Petronas has a higher ratio of 2.88%, which indicates better income to shareholders compared to Petron, which has a ratio of 2.6%. Next, a return on assets. Petron received a higher ratio of 5.55%, which suggests a greater return on investment for firms than Petronas, which only had 0.82%. The last one is return on equity. So Petron's higher ratio of 12.11% indicates a higher return to shareholders compared to Petronas, which has a 1.17% ratio.
Next, this one is vertical ratio for year 2022.
Current ratio. Petronas received a higher ratio 1.28 times than Petronas, 0.81 times, indicating a greater ability to pay short-term obligations on schedule. Quiet ratio. Petronas got higher on the quiet ratio, 0.81 times than Petron, who got 0.76 times. This implies that the company ought to be able to cover its liability more easily. Net working capital. In the terms of absolute liquidity, Petronas outperformed with an RM negative 990919 ratio compared to RM 560049 for Petron. Inventory turnover. Petron received a ratio of 15.87 times, whereas Petronas received 107.53 times. The company's capacity to sell inventory has decreased somewhat. Average collection period. Petronas ratio was higher at 18 days, indicating more productivity than Petron, 29 days. Fixed asset turnover. Petron's ratio was larger than Petronas, measuring 11.93 times the effectiveness of total asset in generating revenue as opposed to 0.47 times. Total asset turnover. Petron received a higher ratio 3.67 times than Petronas, which indicates how well fixed asset will generate sales in 2023. Debt ratio. Given that Petron has more debt than Petronas, which has 28.49%, Petron receives a higher ratio of 48.46%. Debt to equity. Petronas' debt to equity ratio is the lowest at 39.84% compared to Petron's 94.01%, indicating that as the ratio declines, stockholder risk is decreasing. Gross profit margin. Petronas' higher ratio of 35.48% was a reflection of its large debt load, 3.28% than Petron's. Account receivable turnover. Petron received a higher ratio, 2.91 times than Petronas, which is 6.95 times, indicating how well account receivable produce debt. Net profit margin. Petronas achieved a higher ratio in comparison to Petron's 1.58% return on investment. 9.49% show a better rate of return. Return on asset. The ratio for Petronas was higher in comparison to Petron, 5.79%. The 9.48% indicates a large return on the firm's investment. Lastly, return on equity. Petronas received a large ratio, 3.76% than Petron, which indicates a lower return to shareholder, 1.24%. In conclusion, Petron Malaysia Refining and Marketing Berhad and Petronas Gas Berhad demonstrate varying financial performance from 2021 to 2023. Petron Malaysia faced challenges in inventory turnover and profitability despite improved liquidity, necessitating operation refinements. In contrast, Petron Gas maintains strong liquidity and profitability, albeit with inventory management issues. Boost company can enhance financial management by reducing overhead costs, selling surplus assets, shifting to long-term debt, and seeking specialized financial advice to sustain long-term growth effectively.